Yeah, no, that was fun. I've never done Pride outside of the U.S.
I've had it in my head. This would be really expensive, but it'd be fun to go to the Pride.
Oh, I don't even know they have fun.
Yeah.
When is that?
It is in June.
Same.
So it'd be cold, but I don't know that it's ever warm right now.
Oh, that'd be interesting to have a cold Pride. Everyone in their park.
Well, that's like still deeply in the closet. But I was on a class trip and we were in Munich
Oh, yeah.
during their Pride, which is also June. But talk about cold Pride. Munich on the North Sea in June.
It'd be nice and cold. I mean, it's like for me, like it's not hot summer in South Africa.
Yeah, no.
And I always see in the U.S. it's snowy Christmas. Very interesting. Oh wow, yeah. Well, you're there you go.
Yeah,
Figure it out. Sure. Yeah. And if you want to fire or something, we can do whatever.
We'll see what happens. Nothing serious yet.
You're trying to move.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Judson Memorial Church. I see that we have the July 4th weekend remnant here. Thank you for traveling here in this sweltering heat and in this mercurial air. It's so wonderful to have you here. Let's send jealousy rays to whoever has gone out of town today. But if we've never met, my name is Micah, and I'm the senior minister here at Judson Memorial Church. And I would love it. The Sunday that stops happening will be the Sunday when I have to go talk to my therapist immediately. But it is so wonderful to see all of you. If we have never met, I would love to meet you after the service, and I'll usually hang out right here around this table. So come and meet me. If you have just arrived and you've never been here on an AGAPE Sunday, and you fear that you've arrived at some strange cultic ritual, you have. It is our AGAPE Sunday meal, and this is the first time that we have been back at table, actually, since the pandemic. So we will continue to become ourselves again. But if you've forgotten what the agape meal is, every first Sunday we gather at table here instead of in our usual rows, and you are welcome to eat and drink throughout the service. So make noise, do whatever you want. This service tends to get a little more raucous than some of the other services, so please feel at home and do what Jesus and his friends would have done, and that's be a mess at the table and do whatever you want to do. We always start our services here with announcements. So if you have something to share, come on up here. I will hand you this microphone. And we've got new retiree David Blythe coming up.
You stole my thunder. I was just going to say, hello, my name is Retired.
Gorgeous. Congratulations, David. Round of applause. Suresh, come on up.
Good morning. As Micah mentioned, it is agape, which does mean extra cleanup. So if you can stay around after the service and help clean up, clear up the tables, put up the chairs and the tables, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Other announcements? All right, then I want you all to turn around to that camera right now, give a big wave to our Judson diaspora who are joining us across this digital airwave. All of you know that these communion tables stretch to exactly where you are. So be raucous in your own home. Grab something to eat, grab something to drink, and know that we feel the spirit of you right here in this space. You are at table with us, and we need you here. So thank you for being here. And now as we move more deeply into this service, I invite you to give your attention to our land acknowledgement. We gather today on the ancestral land of the Munsee Lenape tribe of the Lenni Lenape people. We acknowledge these people of the stony country and decry the unjust taking of their Lenape hoking. We acknowledge the unfulfilled promises of U.S. treaties granting land access and the still unresolved traumas of forced migration. We acknowledge and affirm Native values and indigenous cultures while holding space for the myriad authentic and post-colonial Native expressions of faith in life. And this land acknowledgement is only usable for us if we allow it to be one part of the work that we do together. So you have questions about this land acknowledgement and the continuing work that we can do together to actually embody it, come talk to me after the service, because we have collective work to do. And speaking of work, one of our jaw artists, and that's Judson Arts Wednesdays, Nate Weida, currently has a gorgeous show playing uptown, and Nate has come to share 2 songs with us. He'll do one right now, but just to give you a taste of what Incorpo is, he is developing it based on a couple of classic texts and essentially making it into a beautiful digital AI extravaganza in which a bunch of folks who think that they are just part of a machine that is eating away at their souls, that they have actually the power to collectively be something else. So, as we move into this service and remember what we can collectively be together, let's hear this first song, which comes at the point where the folks don't totally know that they aren't just their jobs.
Hello. Working through my break, so I needed a coffee tablet, and honestly I felt a bit dazed from the juggling work. First some of mine Titorellis, then mine, how it blurs in my mind. Where will I find the time? Hey, keeping a line for the piece of the pie. Don't know why, don't know why. Such disarray, we're we're all trapped in this state of chaos, and honestly I feel a bit dazed from the watching them work. Access denied, status unverified, 13G is behind, such a huge waste of time. Hey, keeping alive for the piece of the pie. Don't know why, don't know why. I'm happy, I'm happy. 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 Keep typing, copy, data, send it along. Don't let it pile up, it's not paper, it's bytes. Get it right. Can't lose this job, I can't lose this job. I can't lose it, 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 can't lose it. Can't lose this job, I can't lose this job. I can't lose it, 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 can't lose it.
Now I invite you to center yourselves in a prayer for that just meeting moment, our call to welcome. This day has never dawned before, and I am a me I have never been. I have cobbled together some hope-managed fear and failure-drenched wisdom. I offer both to you in the midst of this mess. Maybe chaos is just possibility awaiting our willingness to create. I have convinced myself that the hardest thing is believing, but I now realize that the hardest thing is belonging. Have you yet found your U-shaped space? Shake off the dust you thought was glitter and unearth the newly birthed glow beneath. Do you know how truly hard it is to truly know anything? If I am just meeting you, I am just meeting myself. What a way to keep becoming. Amen. And now would you rise in body and or spirit, and let's join in singing All Our Welcome. You sound beautiful. Please be seated. And now I am so excited, after they've been away for a while, to have Gillian Walsh back with us to read us the ancient testimony. Welcome back, Gillian.
Thank you. Hi, good morning, everyone. It's good to see you. Okay, let's pop off the ancient testimony, which is from the Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said, "Whoever welcomes you welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever welcomes the righteous person in the name of a righteous person will receive the reward of the righteous. And whoever gives over a cup of water to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly I tell you, none of these will lose the reward."
Thanks so much, Gillian. And one more song from In Corpo, this time as folks have realized that they can be something more than what the machine tells them that they are. Here's Soul Extricated.
Soul extricated, oh, flesh won't defend its precious code. The inner walls are broken. Descent within has been denied. The castle's breached my mind. My body's left behind. Confined within a mold, the essence that these circuits hold is now a proxy soul, and self-transmogrified in time, the cloud becomes a mind. The body now is mine. This shit is getting old. 'Cause what they want's not what we are. We're through with who we were. We're wanting what we want to want, becoming who we'll be. We're finally breaking free.
Thank you so much, Nate. Would you please pray with me? May I say what I need to say, and may you hear what you need to hear. Amen. So we begin with questions. When was the last time you felt truly welcomed? When was the last time you truly welcomed someone else? When was the last time you truly gave something? And when was the last time you truly allowed yourself to receive something? We'll come back to those questions, so just let them marinate there with you. And hello. Hello. My name is Micah. My pronouns are he and they. And this is my first sermon as the senior minister of Judson Memorial Church. I promise that that was not an applause line. Is there a sign? We have the sign coming. When I realized that this would be my first sermon as the senior minister at Judson Memorial Church, I did what all confident, self-possessed, well-educated, well-prepared, well-supported senior ministers do. I panicked. My dad always says, Micah, you have to show up the way you're going to be. But how do you show up to a place the way you're going to be when you've been something to the same place for over 10 years? As Nate so plaintively sang in this morning's prelude, I can't lose this job. How do I become who I'm going to be if I'm clinging to who I thought I needed to be in order to belong here? Maybe that's a question for Judson as well. Not only do I feel responsible for helping to lead this amazing, historic congregation into its future, but I also feel responsible for coming up here in the wake of several heartless, heavy Supreme Court decisions and helping to hold the anger and the grief and the despair with all of you while trying to shape it into something that at least harmonizes with hope. And I feel messy. That dangerously hazy air quality that continues to envelop so much of our current reality seems an appropriate metaphor for these shadowy SCOTUS rulings. It's breathtaking, this continuing suffocation, so much excruciatingly slow progress now obscured and dismissed. And it's not lost on me that as many are preparing to celebrate independence this coming Tuesday, these SCOTUS decisions that directly endanger the thriving of long marginalized groups completely ignore the fact that we are actually always called to understand just how interdependent we truly are. And if the word interdependence isn't one you commonly use, here's a simple definition. Interdependence is the dependence of two or more beings or things on one another. Mutual dependence, mutual aid. Interdependence requires each of us to balance a deeply felt sense of oneself with a deeply embodied sense of oneself as one part of an expansive and expanding whole, be that in relationship to a community, to a country, to a world, or even just in relationship to a short meeting that you have one-on-one with a stranger on the street. A world in which all are embodying an understanding of such an interdependence balance would organically create a just world. All of us need all of us. All of us need each of us, and each of us needs all of us. But in an unjust, imbalanced world, and spoiler alert, that's the world we live in this world in which we have historical and continuing evidence that we humans have built intentionally unbalanced systems in order to keep the already marginalized, we need collective protections and we need collective actions in order to move us back to balance. And I dare suggest that a Supreme Court that has made the decisions that it has this past week is willing itself to not understand interdependence. That court is willing itself to not understand what interdependence truly is and the reparations and accountability that interdependence truly requires. So as we rage and fear and despair, we gather here once again, and at table for the first time in a long time, for our monthly communion ritual, which we call agape. But we throw that word agape around a lot of this place. And I think it's wonderful for agape to have so moved into our systems that we can just use that word without constantly defining it for ourselves and for one another. But here's the truth. The act of communion and the act of agape communion should always be both a radical comfort and a radical challenge. When we co-create sacred community in our agape service, we model a different way of being. We resist the empire violence that continues to suffocate the oppressed, and we recommit to taking the truth-telling, the prophetic visioning, and the continuing accountability that interdependence requires of us out into our continuing service in the world. We are called to dismantle those crucifying crosses that continue to be out there in the world. And metaphorically, we take those crucifying crosses that not only killed that prophet Jesus, but killed so many and continues to kill so many. And we reshape that wood into the very tables that you are sitting at. Sure, those tables are plastic, but we've got paper over them so you can imagine that they're wooden. Agape means unconditional love. It means unending love that is always available to everyone. We just have to be willing to accept it. And when we accept it, it makes it all the easier to give it. So simple, no? Right? We can all leave today, it's that simple. But as the prophet Lauryn Hill says, it could all be so simple. Who knows the rest of that sentence? But you'd rather make it hard. Just look at our ancient testimony. Look at that text from the Gospel according to Matthew. It's all worth reading, but I'm going to move from the start of the text to the end of the text and simply highlight the most active verbs leading up to an important noun and watch how it creates a simple roadmap for what we are actually called to do. You can get out your bulletin again, just look at it. Welcome, 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 receive, give, reward. Do you see how low the bar truly is? Welcome, 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 receive, give, reward. Can I make a controversial statement here? And it's mostly just to remind myself. I hope it helps you. This is the gospel in a nutshell. This is interdependence and mutual aid in a nutshell. Welcome, 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 welcome. Receive, give, reward. It's all we have to do. Our hope lies in embodying this ethic so fully that it can't help but spill out far beyond these walls and join with the other spills until our combined spills co-create the actual justice-drenched agape this world so desperately needs. But step one to adding yourself to this agape wave, I think is a really hard thing. Because step one is to actually love yourself. Those bullies out there, I think they don't love themselves. And somehow they've convinced themselves that if they just get into power and hold enough power, that it might be better than the agape that they fear is not actually available to them. Injustice and oppression are birthed in hearts that have terrorized themselves into believing that they must cling to some concretized idea of themselves and the world, instead of queering their commitment. Instead of queering their commitment and expanding it into an openness to messy, even chaotic change. Chaos is just possibility awaiting our willingness to create. But our fear of messiness gets in the way, so we disappear into our concretized crusts, those protective layers we believe will help us to belong. And I would guess that each of you has your own crust that you've constructed to protect yourself and shield yourself from appearing messy. So I hope that having someone up here at a makeshift podium saying that they are messy can invite you to lean into that messiness a bit. But maybe the crust you wear is designed to convince others that you always know the right, ethical, good answer, or that you don't have any of your own needs and can just give and give and give into exhaustion. Or maybe your crust tells you that you always get things done efficiently, or that you've always done the most research and that you have the most information for everyone, or that you're the always honest one who's willing to say what isn't being said, even if you don't actually know what's inside everybody's head. Or that you're the one who always has a plan, or that you're the brave one who will put yourself on the line to protect those in need at all costs, or that you're the skeptic who keeps the rest of us accountable, or that you're the one that no one will ever understand. Oakley, is that you? We understand you. Or that you're the one who's always stable and clear-eyed when threats loom. Or that you're the one who stays positive all the time, no matter what. Or that you're the one who stays peaceful no matter what dangers lurk. I trust you get my point. None of these crusty shells are inherently bad. They have helped you to survive. They have helped me to survive. But when you start believing that these crusty shells are all that you are, things get complicated and exhausting. And I hate to admit to you that I have built a glitter crust around myself. A glitter crust that has convinced me that I have to be warm and kind and helpful and not show my own needs or my own anger or my own grief or my own despair in order to be worthy of the love of this place or worthy of the love of the world. And we've all got those crusty shells that we've built around ourselves because we don't trust the actual truth. And that truth is agape. That we are worthy of love and that we are beloved, whether we like it or not, whether we believe it or not, as our whole, authentic, messy selves, that our hugeness and wonderfulness can never be contained by one crusty shell that only gives us one sense of identity and belonging. The promise of agape, the promise of interdependence, invites us to believe that we can let down our crusty layers. We can be radically messy, and we can be assured that there's a force larger than ourselves showering us with love. So let's trust that we are enough. That crust you are hiding behind, that isn't you. This is a place, this is a table where you can let those things go, where we come together and we remind ourselves that we are worthy of love no matter who we are. And then those of us who have the strength, who have the constitution, who have the privilege, can then leave this place and take that message of agape to those who literally cannot love themselves and transform that into not loving other people. Not all of us have to do that bridge building work. But we are building those bridges right here at these tables all the time. So let's reintroduce ourselves and get to know one another again. Hello. Hello. My name is Micah. My pronouns are he and they. And I want to be both welcome and welcomed. I want to both give what I have to give and receive the gifts that I do not have on my own. I want to belong, and I often feel like I don't belong. I often fear that I have to be a certain way in order to be lovable, and I will meet you at this table. So what's your name? What are your pronouns? What do you have to offer? What do you need? What do you fear? You already belong, so how can we remind you of that truth? We are creating an amalgamation at these tables, an alchemy, a mixture of disparate parts that bump up against one another and co-create. Listen to that bumping going on over there. No, leave Oakley here, please. This is the sound of creative chaos. Listen to it. Let that move in your heart, my goodness. Oakley. Hi. My name is Micah. I know. But I hope that these words just enter your heart in a way that they can come back to you whenever you need them. The crust that the world will convince you that you need sometime in the future is not what you need. You are loved in all of your messiness, in all of your noisiness, in all of your need, and in all of the gifts that you have to give. So thank you for being here, and thank you for modeling this metaphor that I just keep talking about. The combination of what our Judson Arts artists are showing us today takes the truth of this even deeper. So you've already heard Nate sing about soul extrication and disentangling yourself from the idea of who you have to be. And now Katiana and Thales are going to show us the amalgamation possible when we come together, wholly, messily, and unite our forces to create something new. So Thales and Katiana, come on up here. Oakley, look at this. Thank you so much, Katiana and Thales. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let us know where you got those heels after this service. So we began with questions, and we end with questions, and we continue with questions. When was the last time you truly felt welcomed? When was the last time you truly welcomed someone else? When was the last time you truly gave something? When was the last time you truly allowed yourself to receive something? You are not just sitting at tables this morning. You are sitting at interdependence igniters. You are sitting at tables that are launch pads for this recipe. Welcome, 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 welcome. Receive, give, reward. So as you gather something to eat right now, as you gather something to drink, make sure you have something and make sure that everyone around you has something. If you do not want to participate in a communion ritual that reminds you of something that hurt you long ago, queer it for yourself if you want to. Make it into something that just makes you feel connected to the people around you, to the world around you. You are always becoming and you always belong. So let's see what we can co-create together. I'll pull you back together in just a moment. And if you are joining us in the Zoom room, grab something to eat and drink. I'll pull you back together with us in a moment as well. Do we all have what we need? Hope you have what you need out there in Zoom land. And on the night that we remember, Jesus was sitting around a table with all of his friends. And he took bread and he broke it. And he said, "Take this bread and eat it. Whenever you think of me, and eat this bread, don't just think of me. Think of all of the broken bodies that are around us now, all of the broken bodies to come. So as you eat this bread, don't disappear into despair, but remember, we have a commitment to those broken bodies. And sometimes those broken bodies are our own. Let's eat. And in the same way Jesus took the cup, I hope he had a rainbow dash chalice, but we'll just have to imagine. And he looked around at all of his friends and he said, this might just look like some normal cup, but it is a cup of interdependence. It is a cup of mutual aid. It is a cup of the mutuality to which we commit every time we gather together. Let's drink together and remember to love one another as Jesus loved his friends and has reminded to us to love one another. And here at Judson, we like to imagine that they also sang together. So we have a beautiful song that was gifted to us by Lee Gilliat. And though Lee isn't with us in body, may this song conjure her spirit into this space as we sing. Henco. And now, would you please rise in body and or spirit? You belong. You belong. So welcome others to this table and always feel welcome at this table. We are co-creating it together. Also, as Lee says, sing your own song and listen for the other songs around you. That's where harmony comes from. Love yourself, love one another. That's how we love whatever this thing is that some of us call God. And while you're doing it, remember to make your own kind of music. Amen. right, everyone. Not only am I making my own kind of music, but I'm making like 25 to 30 mistakes each week as well. So, you might have seen baskets going around the room during that song. That was our offertory. If the basket passed you by and you desperately want to give money to this place and these programs and these people, know that those baskets are waiting for you. Come find them after the service, and in your bulletin are listed multiple ways that you can give online as well. So, sorry for forgetting to tell you, but needed to remind you. Now is the moment in our service where we turn back to that camera again and say goodbye to the diaspora, who will join with Reverend Matthew Nelson as they share their celebrations and concerns and pray together. And now is the moment we're in this space. As we prepare for coffee hour and continue to eat and drink at these tables, we can share celebrations and concerns as well. I have a roving mic, so I'm going to bring it to you right now at the table if you have something to share.